Right. So,
Hello.
we're back in Arsenal. Arsenal.
We have a guest
Oops.
today.
My windshield is gone. No. I hope this windshield actually works. Hello. We're
Hello.
already recording.
Yeah, hello.
This is our guest.
Hello.
Maybe you can introduce yourself.
But we don't do a formal introduction usually.
That's why.
I don't read like your biography. Born in. Anyways,
Wait, what do I say?
Like your name?
whatever you want.
Alright.
You don't have to be formal.
Okay.
That's the spirit of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Liza.
Yes,
You actually pronounce like Liza, like
Liza.
okay.
Liza. Yeah. It's the L is not dark L.
It's dark L.
It's not
No,
dark
not
L.
dark L.
So it's not dark L. It's light L.
Light
And
L.
the dark is at the front of the palette. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. And the light is in the back of the palette. So this is the
Liza.
Yeah.
Liza.
Yeah. So it's very different from Liza.
Wow, that's already already something.
But you were saying something very interesting. The last thing you said was that what was this? This is like Alzheimer is the language of improvisation,
Yeah.
and I make somehow the relation is what we do. That it has to be a lot with glitch. Have you heard the term glitch? That basically a glitch is an error. It's some kind of error in a system, in a computer. A glitch, what it means is there's an error that it corrects itself. You see, when the image is passing at some point, you see, but it comes back to normal. That's what you call a glitch. It's literally a bug in the system that it it corrects itself. And then it makes me think of when you said like the Alzheimer is a language of improvisation. Because you were sharing a personal story, but the way how I make the analogy is like that. Do you see some relation into that? To how you see? Do you see some relation between like in the way how you see Alzheimer as a language of improvisation and glitch somehow?
I got really excited at some point when you spoke about glitch, because what I realized is that we're glitching from where to where.
We're glitching from where to where, not from A to B, but from where to where.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Where to where?
From where to where? Because go on. Yes, please.
What did you understand?
The thing is like how I see normal when I see communication, like straightforward is you need an emitter and a recipient, and it's always a message that goes from point A to B. So that's a straightforward. But what I found interesting is you said like it goes from where to where. That's more rich.
I think it has another dimension to it.
Absolutely.
Right? Because okay, I'm thinking about. I'm thinking if I want to be concrete or very abstract. Concrete, for me, is more emotional. Because it has to do with personal experience, with my embodied experience.
Okay.
This is concreteness for me. It will always touch, always something in some way.
Okay.
Being more abstract, this is like the philosophy of it. This is more, let's call it mindful. But not the mindfulness that we know, the practice of mindfulness, but rather being literally full of mind.
So like aware, like very, like the scope. Would you agree in saying that the scope will be bigger? I mean, or there will be more focus when you try to be more concrete. the scope will be bigger when you try to make it abstract?
Not necessarily. Wait, what do you mean by bigger?
Like in terms of focus. So then, say concrete is when the focus
Like
is
the
closed,
macrovision and the
macrovision. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. So
An expert in language, eh? So thank you.
but also micro and macro vision is something that in different discourses would mean something different.
Yes.
Right? So I know what I mean when I say micro vision and micro vision. But macro vision. But then someone else who's coming from economics, they will hear me use this language and they will like, wait, what are you doing? Like you're misusing words. And I am using them in other directions. So I'm misusing the purpose, maybe the purpose for which it was created.
You're hacking the purpose. Like, then go back to this idea. You're hacking the language itself.
Yeah, and I think, but then again, we are all hacking the language. I'm not alone in this act of hacking. I am now aware of it because we're talking. But
then is when it comes in play what I was saying. But you said, like, do you speak about this thing, or do you? And what I learned from this, or what I think about that, is more a culture than a knowledge. You know, it's more something that rather you cultivate and you try to make it in your life through awareness than learning. You know, it's not knowledge based. It's culture.
And then when speaking about culture, you're interestingly for me mentioned the word cultivate.
Repeat the last sentence, please.
You said it's not a practice, right? Was that the word you used? Like, hacking is not a practice, it's not something you do, it's something...
No, actually it's not something that you learn somehow, it's not something that you can teach somehow, but I see that it's more like something more a culture, something that's more cultural, or that's the way I perceive it more. Something that you will find in books, I think it's something that just you cultivate.
Okay. What is cultivating?
Wait, so you said hacking,
Yeah.
but what is it? Like what hacking are we talking about?
I think that what I'm talking about here, hacking, is the way how you basically. So, I think maybe we can make the differentiation between them again, like between hacking and then cracking. You put it like straightforward in technology, but what myself, I thought about hacking when I started studying computers like 4 years ago, was about this idea of the hacker who is breaking into the bank and breaking passwords because he's just malicious or doing something. But then you have the cracker is the person who is breaking into the system with malicious purposes. But then the hacker will be the one who is more finding failures in the system in order to build things. So in order to actually, so he's not breaking things, but he's rather building things. That's the way how I see the hacker. Is the hacker is somebody who is seeing how the system works, maybe some failures on spaces where the hacker can go into the system to create agency for other things to happen. That's what I'm speaking. When we're trying to speak about this hacking, maybe that part of the conversation. In that perspective, like to give agency for other things to happen.
It's like hacker. It's like mediator. Always wins the case.
Mediator always wins the case.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you know the profession of mediation. So it's a relatively new profession, I think, from what I remember. But it makes sense to me because it's a hack. It's hacking into the judicial system, and rather than, for instance,
He's not a lawyer. He's
Exactly.
not the judge. He's
Yeah.
something in between.
he's something not even in between. He's not on that scale because his job is to actually prevent the arrival at the court to start with. It doesn't go on you're right, you're wrong, you were the bad guy here and you are so holy and saint.
Yeah, I remember this friends in Japan. A kind of initiative like basically like they rent spaces that are kind of like not usually like rented for like housing, like maybe some like DIY renovations needed, or like it's not like a normal flat that you can just like rent. So these people like try to make use of these space like for cultural or art use, and this was the lawyer, but he was basically advising the artists how to make things happen, because there's like always like borderline. Like for example in Japan, like if you do a kind of party with like selling tickets, then you need like a approval from the city or something like that. But then with this space, I think so the lawyer was saying that if you do it like for friends and not like not with official ticket sales, then you can do it without approval.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How does he check the level of closeness between people, friends, or
Yeah, so that's kind of the gray.
The gray
zone. Yeah, exactly. But I found
wait,
it's really
are you a friend? Are you a friend or?
everyone's friend, right? So, but that's like a nice example I thought about, and also like it's exactly like what I associate with hacking the system, basically.
Yeah. But I think in a way, the way how I see this, one thing we can agree, or I dare to say that we agree, is that basically is the willingness to try to generate agency, basically, for other things to happen. Like not in a personal level, because actually when we're speaking here, often we are speaking about groups. So I think that maybe that could be at the core also of hacking, is like when you're trying to break into the system, maybe not break, but like try to see where you can go in the system to generate something new, is because you have the idea that other ones maybe can do something from it, which is agency is potentiality. Agency. What is agency for you?
Agency for me. Wow. Ooh. I'll make some sounds while I think.
No, but we always talk about agency, but what is agency? What is like, because agency is like, we see it in like real life. It's not just like art context, but like
I think like
travel agency is also agency.
That's something. But I think like at the core, I think like I would put it more in the other way around. I think there's potentiality, and potentiality is agency in itself. That's the way how I see it more. Potentiality.
What is potentiality?
Potentiality is agency in itself. It's just the possibility of something to come, something
The
to happen.
possibility of something to come, something
Yes.
to happen.
Yeah.
Perfect. In that case, agency for me is everything. And this is ridiculous to
No.
say that.
But I agree.
In a way, this is ridiculous because if you assign a word with all the possible meanings in the world, then it loses its meaning.
But then when you go like you are really into like what we were talking, then I think it's because of your practice. Then you know Derrida, and the idea of like deconstruction, right? Is the first person who started like proposing deconstruction. And when you speak, you make this macro micro like very fast, and I absolutely like, can get from where it comes is from. So yes, but I said yes, but at the same time, I think when we talk about, I think the difference in this case, what I'm trying to say is that I think it's just then the awareness of when to zone things, because one can say like, so if agency is everything in a way, then you still need to have cluster to make some things to show up at points.
In order to define it.
In order to, because it could be the same example. You have the main awareness, but you need to have micro awareness in different moments.
I'm not sure awareness is involved, or maybe I'm not getting what awareness is.
Yeah. So, but you said like everything is agency. I really like it because like how I see it is basically like if you start to see this not as a table, but you know, a camera mount, then I can use it as a camera mount. And you know, like I really like to like play with the chair because like not to like really I don't want to fall before the symposium, but you know, like I sometimes play with it because then it becomes something more mobile. I don't know. That's something I associate a lot. I mean, but from what I get from what you said, like, is that something like on that line, or is it something else?
So, who is the agent in this case for you?
That's also a question.
Because what I am suggesting in this case specifically is that perhaps we don't need awareness to be an agent. The table is an agent.
Yeah.
The chair is an agent. It doesn't have maybe it does have awareness. I don't know. I was never a table before. Or a chair. So I wouldn't.
Are you sure?
Well, that's
but this is also like
but
these questions, like it was a joke, but also that kind of creates like different perspective, because maybe I was actually a table. And that for me really like relaxes and makes like different perspectives.
And then we're going into embodiment.
That's also true. Yeah.
But then how you make the leap between the because you relax already. You assume that the table is no.
The representation of a table for you is it's a place to relax on at this given moment, which allows you to become relaxed as soon as you imagine that you are a table. Yes? Is this how it works?
No, like relax.
Is
like
this how it works? I don't know.
How it works? I don't know. But this is like already like really interesting conversation, because now things are like kind of less defined.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're not talking about, table should be this or our perspective should be this, but then like maybe I don't get what you mean, or you don't get what I mean. But that's where,
and we're still having a conversation.
Exactly. Yeah. And
well,
also
what I think is cool also in this is that if we go back to the conversation that we had before, it's like this like
this is awesome.
When you have like an Eurocentric thought in philosophy is always, not only in philosophy, but I think in life normally is based on dialectics, which basically is always like in search of the truth. So when you go to high-end places where people are, I don't know, are PhDs in philosophy, or people who, let's say, know a lot of Western culture, they always will try to have the last word, or I need to convince you with arguments, with rational arguments, that I'm right and that you are wrong. And that's on and on and on and on and on and on, like with arguments. Debate club, I like that.
Right?
Yeah,
isn't it all about, I'm right, no, I'm right, I have more, I'm more convincing, right?
Yes.
And this is judicial system as well.
Okay.
Someone is
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I see the connection.
So,
Yes.
so mediation comes and says, no, guys, nobody's right or wrong. We just want us to feel happy and be able to have a
So hippie.
conversation. Right? It's a hippie
Super
movement
hippie
into
movement
the
into
tradition.
the tradition. It's super hacking. And now I see the whole connection. Completely hacking the judicial system. Like,
Let's just be
relax,
our
relax.
friends.
Relax here, relax.
And we wear suits and everything. But let's just
We're all tables.
let's just be a table for a moment.
They start the meeting. Let's all be a table right now. Everybody in their ties, like with their suitcase, and like hold their hands, breathe in, breathe out.
Think table.
Table. That's the way how.
This is how mediation is done.
Wow. Like this feeling that I totally get it and I totally don't get it. Like this weird feeling, you know.
Exactly, because we are tend to be we are used, we as humans, right, as the culture that I come from, or the culture that I think I come from. Anyway, you take the we to where you need, but I think that we are taught to think in a very linear way.
Yeah.
And when we are taught that way, we can't see the value of something that is outside this linearity. And we are invited to focus all the time on something very specific. But what if my focus right now is going to that person walking there? What if I don't feel like looking into your eyes like I should in a cultural, in a friendly conversation? What if my focus is there, but and I'm also listening to the music, and I like this song? What if I'm there for a moment and not listening to what you're saying?
Right.
No, you should listen.
Yeah. Well, there was something on Alzheimer, but I think for me that's like really makes me interested about neurodiversity. For example, like if you have ADHD, you know, like the attention is everywhere. If you're autistic, whatever. I don't know how to explain it.
If you're OCD, you can just not let things go, and just go mental.
But this really like creates like glitch or error in the communication or basically everything, and that adds the the richness to the.
But
everything.
that's what I think. Like I was trying to say that in both cases, then I think what is interesting from the glitch, the idea of the glitch is there is an error that it fixes somehow itself. So it's something that actually just there to refresh something. It just refreshes the linearity. So it comes there to break the linearity, refreshes, but then it keeps on going somewhere.
Maybe there was no linearity to start with.
Perhaps. I was thinking.
And then, in that case, Alzheimer's is the correction to the glitch.
Itself.
To the glitch of linearity.
Yeah, it made me think like I know somebody who got some accident in her, like when you have an accident and they have an accident in the brain, and then when she was back, then it took a while until she's recovering, but so let's say her consciousness is back, but then speaking wise or something that she's struggled with things because she has the accident. When you have like beans in the brain that explode, there's a name for that. So it takes.
Stroke.
But it wasn't stroke. It was
because from the outside.
It was she have a heat.
From the injury.
She was a heat.
Yeah, concussion. Concussion?
Yeah.
But I think concussion is more like a brain damage. I don't know how it's the.
It's
right
one of
name.
the brains that they explode basically, and then you have some bleeding in the brain, and then you can basically go, or you can die from that, or if you're alive, basically you have 50-50 chances to stay in coma or not, because you cannot recover, or you go to the other part, which is really uncertain, because it's like you will recover. So let's say if your consciousness is back somehow, but then it takes time until you understand all these things, because you like 35 years of your life in a way of how you took like all the nuances, the differences between how I should understand social cues. All these things are gone in a way.
I should understand how to hold this well.
All the little things like so then it's something that the person needs to build slowly, and it needs to somehow make. He has to deal a lot in the beginning, because I saw it with frustration, because the person understands this is me, but my body is not yet there, and it feels like that it cannot express itself, you know. So it's like super freaking out inside, which somehow makes me think a bit of Alzheimer. I don't have experience with Alzheimer, but it makes me feel in this in the case that I'm explaining, that the person, I know that the person, because many times she was crying, so it's just because she's just. I'm
nervous.
I'm okay, but that's like I'm here, but I cannot express why somebody has to help me to the toilet. I mean, all these kind of things, because life is new, and then it slowly becomes like this. It just recovers in their own time. But in the place where she is now, for instance, how I see that she interacts with the people now, that is like almost 1 year after, is that I pay way more attention now. Because I found she's Dutch, she's part of the family of my girlfriend. They are very classical Flemish people from the countryside. And before, in a way, I thought was... Now I found it more interesting in a way. Because in a way it's more rich also for me to... She doesn't have so many filters, you know. So, because she don't know yet, she's learning the filters just now. And I think it's very interesting.
Aren't the filters the glitch? The social conventions?
I would say they're more like filters. I would say it actually is more like layers. That the way how I would see it is, these social conventions are more like layers. Mm-hmm. That as you get older and older and older, you put more and more and more and more. From
like when you're a baby.
Yeah, and then you start putting more layers. You start learning more things that you're supposed to do because somebody. I mean. It's the way how society defines it, so just it's the way how we do with that.
And what do these filters serve? What purpose? What greater purpose do they serve?
I think, like in short, the way how I see it is like to not kill each other, basically. That in short, like the way, because at how I see it, like that's my microvision of the world in a way. Like we are freaking animals, we are just monkeys somehow, but in somehow we manage not to kill each other, and we are in a rock that is turning super fast, going into the infinitude, and infinitude is like, and so in so many ways it's like a joke what we're living. Like we are monkeys, we are able to kill each other at any moment, right? But we don't do it because we have the filters defining for thousands of years.
We hacked reality.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
And the whole story with the cosmos is like it's absurd. Like, you know, this is going super fast right now, somewhere in the space, the planet. You know, it's the entropy is going into the infinitude. This is a rock that is going into the infinitude of the space right now.
We are the rock.
We rock.
We rock.
Hola, class. Sorry. Do you want to say hello? Come here.
It's
going to
be uploaded online.
Yeah. Class will be one of our guests in the coming sessions. We are here in Vienna.
I just woke up, sorry.
Good morning.
I took a cold shower.
That's good. Is it good?
We're going to see that in the next hour. We're going to see that.
Because I will do the shower later on. I have my towel.
We need to
so smart.
basically
always
stay
go
here.
around with a towel.
Talking about showers in the arsenal.
Think about the meaning of arsenal.
If you finish, have a second for me after,
Okay.
I had a conversation with my dad today. I told him, so I'm teaching tomorrow at the Arsenal. And he was like, And I was like, yeah, this is this place where World War II was planned. He's like, I don't know what they told me. But Arsenal is a place where you keep stuff. It's a warehouse.
Yeah.
And I was like, actually, no one told me that. I just assumed this is what it is because I don't know the word, and somehow arsenal connects to me in my.
Yeah, for me too. Like the first time I heard it, also I just thought, like, what are the weapons?
But have you seen the museum?
No.
You have to tell her.
Yeah, so this morning I met a professor from our school, which is a bit weird because she's teaching in Cologne, but she's based in Vienna. And we went to the museum. Basically, we saw the collection from World War I and World War II. So that's something really
Coming back.
heavy. But I found it's quite interesting. Like okay, so let's not talk about World War II because that's just heavy thing, like weapons and propaganda and things like that. It's just toxic. But World War One, I found it's,
this was a cool one.
Yeah, it was kind of funny, but they started with really their costumes, like so many fur and accessories. They really tried to make it I am the
I'm so cool.
Yeah, I'm so cool.
So cool to be fighting. It's like, wow. You should wear our uniform.
Yeah. And if you compare to World War II, there's just portraits of politicians. There's just on, sitting in front of the desk. They're just so it's just sad. And there's no horse, of course. So this contrast
What is that?
Exactly. Airplane.
What did you sign up for? I came here to ride a horse or wear a fancy feather, and now desk work like a bureaucrat?
Just signing papers.
This is war? Crazy. But they get so efficient by having people sitting, or they get so successful by showing people like politicians.
Yeah, basically they have, how do I say it? Yeah, they have to lead not with the power, but by the speech or by the gesture, right? So it's, I don't know what to...
They shifted their commercial... They shifted the way they advertise themselves.
Yeah, basically the propaganda.
Yeah.
And there's also propaganda, posters. They only happen maybe towards the end of World War One, but in the collection mostly from World War Two. And
who was the hacker of the propaganda? Was it a hacker or?
I see a lot of hacking
cracker.
there.
A hacker? Yeah.
Well, I would say cracker because they're evil. But it's really they try to put simple message, right?
We're talking about war propaganda now.
War propaganda.
And the question
What did I miss?
And the question. And the question is: are the propagators hackers or crackers?
The people who the people who made the propaganda,
Yeah.
are they hackers or crackers? I think it depends from. I think they just provide a service. No?
For who's the audience? Who is the customer?
The customer is the, say if we put it in for Nazism will be the Führer. So it will just, they provide a service as a designers or whatever for the general to transmit the message. I think they provide just a service.
But no one paid them.
I'm sure they should get paid.
Wait.
It's their job.
Is it? I always thought that propaganda is grassroots.
No, propaganda is from the government. No?
Why did I think that it's grassroots?
That's more...
What do you say the propaganda is what? What do you
It's grassroots is coming from the commune, or maybe I'm thinking about...
No.
The other way around. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's because that's more protest.
Protest.
Yeah.
And at some point can become a manifesto. Like a manifesto is more like a person demanding of a manifesto is a call to action.
Call to action against what is happening.
Most likely, yeah. Not only necessary, but I would say, yeah, because basically somebody speaking with a loud voice from something that is happening, and the person is not agreeing with the system at the point. So it's calling to action, to people unite for something manifest.
What is the difference between, or what is the relationship between hacker and activist?
That's interesting because you have hacktivism. Maybe Naoto can speak a bit of this.
Oh, I don't know about that, but
Like hacktivism, and there is something specific talking about hacktivism.
I don't know. But they're separate things, right? Because activism doesn't have to be hacking. You just, stand up and protest, for example. And that's not efficient, or if it's efficient, that's activism anyway.
Interesting that activism is somehow associated with against something, but rather not in
Yeah,
or-
because I think it's something that you think something is wrong.
Yeah. I think
So you have to go against the current regime or whatever.
I think I think you cannot imagine. We think language now. Like it's difficult for me to imagine an activism that is supporting the government. It's difficult to imagine
Well,
within language.
it's possible. Active,
But in that
it
case,
doesn't-
almost you will hack the system. I think in the language, I think it's more seen as the activism somehow it has to say something that is not agreeing with that in the system that is happening. No.
What if we consider the root, like act?
If we consider the root.
Act is not. It's a verb. No, it's an action. It seems to be something in the present. Like something that we want now.
Okay, there is also a noun for that. Act in a play,
Yeah.
right? How do they relate?
How do they relate?
I think act is more. I would see it as a verb.
I mean, it can be both, but... Sorry, what are we talking about now? Activism.
Yeah,
Um,
I can say what I'm trying to understand, and I'm kinda asking you to help me.
Let's help each other.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand how come we came to associate activism with protest. Because there are all kinds of activisms. I'm thinking about, for instance, people who speak for people with a particular illness, asking with the purpose of changing the policies, the governmental policies to do with this illness or to do with this condition, to help people, to make them more visible. Accessibility activism, right? Like, think about that. Activists for people struggling with mental health.
It's people who is calling to action. No? It's people who demand some change.
Or they... So it's a matter of what is change. Because what is change for you?
The swift between states. So change, basically, I think can go in a physical, like the water change, the ice change into water. So the something that it changed.
The core is the same.
Yeah, but it just the form changes.
I think activism and protest is more like activism is the act or the not act. How to say? It's more about the idea, right? And protest is the action that they often do. So it's not like something that
It's not synonymous.
right, but it's just a means of activism can be protest.
Protest.
Yeah.
This is one of the forms that activism takes on. Yeah.
Right.
By the way, there's also artivism.
Well, yeah.
Have you heard of like?
I don't exactly know. Like I hear it like once in a while, but is it like something that's like a definition to it, or just like people use it when there's cross section of art and activism?
It brings me back to the same idea we talked about before, with me coming to people from one discipline and speaking and saying particular words that mean to me something, one thing, because I'm coming from a different discipline, and then once we start speaking, it clashes. We don't understand each other. We judge. We say, we talked about that as well, like this identity issue. How do I present myself to myself in a particular circle? How do I present myself to others in a given circle to avoid judgment? Personal, me judging myself, I'm not a good enough dancer, I'm not a good enough teacher. If I'm at the teacher's convention, right, I will switch identity.
If you say you're a dancer, for example. Yeah.
Right, if I say I'm a dancer at the teacher's convention, I'm good. If I say that I'm a teacher at the dancer's convention, I'm still good. Right, I'm not, don't judge me. Who am I speaking to? To myself, me personally. and then projecting to others. But if I take responsibility over this ability to give the attention needed to every word I use, and every word that another person uses, where a conflict arises, this is where we start hacking. This is where this mediation process becomes a way of life.
So you mean
Active, yeah.
So you mean artivism is kind of the way to bypass this judgmental process, for example? Maybe.
You're playing, right? And art is to play, is an art, dance, like anything in Hebrew. It works very interestingly. It's a language to do with roots. All the words, each word has a root, and everything is interlinked. Like all the words are somehow interlinked. And so there is the word emet, which is truth. There is the word emna, which is faith. And there is the word omanut, which is art.
And they're all connected. I mean, it sounds...
To me, they are. Maybe to someone else, they don't, because someone can come and say this is not from the same root, or start explaining to me the etymology of the words and why they are not connected. But for me, in my experience of life, they're interlinked. To me, when I do art, I speak truth.
Your truth.
Yes, of course.
Is this important to say?
Whose truth will I speak?
I know.
And this is to me, this is the ridiculous thing when we go to the news. This channel is speaking the truth, this one is not. But there are so many truth in this world.
Right.
How can I speak about how can you... I'm telling you the truth. Of course I am.
Sure, of course, yeah.
I think it's a good closing for the chat.
Yeah, I was thinking
with this topic, and that's something we can we think about.
All right. So thanks for joining us in the chat.
Thank you.
And we can follow your the workshop or talk presentation tomorrow.
Yes.
at
2 till 3:30
great.
p.m.
So please check out iDope. I don't think I'm gonna upload this on time, but please
Check the website; it will be
Yes.
there.
Yes, yes.
As an archive material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching. Please like the video, and thank you, Liza, for being with us today and talking about your art practice.
And your truth. And
My
your
truth.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. And thanks for watching.
Yeah.